Hello guys, this is Jacko from MuddyTigerOutdoors. Today we're going to do a video on how to sharpen a knife, but this time we're going to do it with the Lansky sharpening kit. You can't see the logo, but it's right there. This is a very cool kit. It has a lot of tools and a lot of little attachments for you to be able to sharpen your knife the way you want it. You know, it has the stones right here from coarse to fine. It has a little bit of oil to put on the little stones. It has this really cool system to give you just the right angle that you want to put on your blade. I'll give you a little bit of a closer look. Hopefully you'll be able to see the angles and the numbers. But yeah, I've used this for a while, and I've basically every knife that I have I've sharpened with this, except for the K-Bar BK2. That being a bigger knife, I usually tend to sharpen that with a whetstone, but today we're going to give that a try. We're going to try to sharpen the BK2 with this system, so stay tuned and we'll see if we can make it happen. Alright, so we got the knife here, the BK2, and we have the thing that is going to give us our angle. So you basically put the knife here, you adjust with this screw and this other screw, basically to make this bigger or smaller to fit the back of your knife or the spine of your knife. Now keep in mind the BK2 is about 1/4 of an inch thick, which is pretty thick for a knife. Most of the knives that I carry in my pocket are definitely a lot thinner. So having said that, that is why I haven't tried to sharpen this one, but I know it's possible. So let's fit it in very carefully without cutting ourselves. Once we get the knife attached, then we just kind of tighten this knob, and that's gonna put the pressure and lock it up in place. Nice and tight, it's not going anywhere. Okay, so now we get to that, it's time to start with choosing a stone. Now, because I know I've been batoning with this knife recently, I've been using it quite a bit since the last time I sharpened it. I'm going to go ahead and start with not the coarsest or the finest. I'm going to start with this one right here, just to kind of cut, give me a nice angle, and then I'm going to go ahead and proceed to a finer. So I'm not going to start with the roughest. I'm going to start with this one, which is the second to last, and then move on. So I'm going to get that out of there, and then we grab one of these. Okay, so basically we just insert that in there. Okay, and then we secure it in place by tightening on this turning screw right there. And then of course we just put a little bit of oil. Spread it out. Maybe a little bit more. Now the original angle of the blade, or of the BK2, is a 20-degree angle. So that's what I'm going to go for. Okay. So you see you have those slots right there. Basically this is a 30 degree, 25, 20, and 17. So this is where we want to put it for the 20-degree angle. We'll grab it like this, or you can actually grab it from the knife, whatever you prefer. And then you insert it on the 20-degree, which is going to be right there. The stone sits on top of the knife like such. And then what we do is basically we just follow this motion all the way, several times, enough to get your angle carved. So let's give it a try. Alright, so thinking about it, I decided to change my angle. Instead of doing a 20-degree angle, which is a very sharp angle, I decided to bring it back down to a 25-degree angle, which, you know, I think it's best for this kind of knife. I mean, think about it. I'm going to be cutting a lot of rough things. I'm going to be batoning, and I think I'd rather keep a 25-degree angle on a blade like this, even though the specification or the angle of the original angle of the BK2, it's a 20-degree angle. I want to go and switch it. So I went ahead and switched for the coarsest or the roughest of the stones, which is this one right here, it's the black, and I'm going to go ahead and basically give it a brand new angle. So I've kind of been working at it. It definitely takes a lot of effort to get the angle reshaped, but it's coming along just fine. I'm going to go at it for a few more minutes, and then we'll flip it to the other side and do the same thing, start over again. Now, once you get the right angle, once you're happy with the way it looks, you know, doing this, the next stones, you know, going from coarse to fine, you know, fine as being the white one, you know, it doesn't take a whole lot of time. What takes the longest time is obviously recarving your angle. So let's go ahead. Alright, so now that we got the right angle on one side of the blade, we're going to go ahead and flip it. And again, we're doing a 25 degrees, so that's going to be the second space there. And we're going to go at it on the other side. Alright guys, so it's taken me, I don't know, probably close to 40 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, to re-angle the edge. Once again, we're giving it a 25-degree angle. So I'm quite happy with the way it looks on both sides. I'm not sure if the camera is going to capture it, but that's definitely a nice 25-degree angle throughout the entire cutting edge of the blade. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to start again with the red and then move on to the finer and finer. Now that should only take a few minutes, as we don't need to cut a new angle. We're basically just honing the angle. So let's go ahead and give it a try. So this is the next from the coarse. We're going to give it a little bit of oil. I said a little bit, but that's a lot anyway. Alright guys, as you can tell, we're moving down the line with the finer and finer. It's definitely a lot of effort, but it's well worth it. We're pretty much putting a perfect 25-degree angle on the blade, so it'll definitely be good to go and ready to cut through pretty much anything and everything for a good while. Keeping in mind, always after using the blade, it's always a good thing and a good idea to strop it with a piece of leather or something. Just kind of make sure that we keep that nice maintained edge. So this is the second to the last from the finest. Alright guys, now we're moving down to our last and final. This is a very fine stone. You can almost feel no granules or no coarseness on it. So we're just going to do this for a few minutes on either side of the blade, and after this we'll just strop it. Alright guys, so there it is. We're pretty much done with stone, or with the Lansky sharpening system. We have a pretty good or perfect 25-degree angle blade. Now, I forgot my leather to strop it, but, and I've done this before, you can actually strop with a small piece of cardboard. You just have to be really careful. You just basically strop it like this a few times, basically to get rid of the burr. And if you don't know what the burr is, the burr, imagine if you had a microscope and you can see the edge of the blade, and there's a little bit of a very fine edge of metal just that kind of curves to one side. You can either curve to that side or this side, depending on which side you sharpen the last. But basically, stropping gets rid of the burr and it gives you that perfect super fine sharpness. Now when stropping, always make sure that you cut away rather than into it. Otherwise you're just going to cut right through the cardboard and potentially slicing your fingers. Alright, so there it is. That's pretty much all it takes to strop. Of course, you can take more time to do it if you have a leather belt or a piece of leather to strop. Now we're going to test how sharp it is, and I think I'm going to do my favorite, which is the hair test. Check that out. Now I'm going to look pretty weird with a patch of hair missing. There it is. Super sharp. Yeah, it takes a lot of effort. It takes some time. It takes patience. And at the end of the day, you end up with a sore thumb and pretty much your hand. But it's definitely worth it. Now let's find out how it cuts through paper. Now obviously, since we already proved that the knife is razor sharp, this test is just for kicks, just to see how it cuts through paper.